Today on Comic Class, we're going to be discussing the first issue of the new DC event, Dark Knight's Metal, where Batman, Nightwing, and Robin have to form a secret 80s hair metal cover band. You all laugh, but you know you would read the hell out of that book. Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgy, your guide to all things geeky, and this is Comic Class, the show every single week on this channel where we just geek out about comic books, and this is going to be the episode where we discuss the brand new Batman-centric event, Dark Knight's Metal. It's also the episode where I realize I don't really own a lot of Batman stuff. Yeah, typically I try and decorate this set with like stuff I own that has to do with what we're talking about, but I got that Batman. That's really all I have. I own more versions of Baymax than I own of Batman. That's kind of sad, isn't it? But yes, as I said, on today's episode, we're going to be discussing Dark Knight's Metal #1. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know something. There are going to be many people out there. Many people out there on YouTube today making videos where they go, I spotted every single secret and every single reference in this issue. Kudos to all those people out there. Go check out their videos, enjoy them. But that is not what this video is going to be, because I am not reviewing this on Wednesday when the issue comes out. I am reviewing this on Tuesday, the day after I got back from work and got to read this issue at work. That doesn't mean I got to sit there and photograph every single page and bring them home and then sit down and analyze them at my leisure. So this is just my thoughts on this issue. It's my review. It's my discussion about how I felt about this issue. It's not me analyzing all the secrets. And I never make that clear in any of these videos, but I had to make it clear in this one because holy cow are there a bunch of secrets and references in this. Kudos to Scott Snyder, and you know, kudos to everyone at DC, because it really feels like ever since Rebirth, they realized the mistake of cutting out so much of their history, and it feels like they've secretly just been trying to put little bits of it back in wherever they can. In fact, recently, if you have been reading Superman, you know that they did a storyline where he basically restored the missing 10 years that were taken from the DC universe, which basically added back in a ton of continuity and a ton of stuff that everyone had forgotten about in their history. And this is the first time that I have read something outside of an issue of Superman where I can look at and go, oh hey, they're actually referencing things that existed in these characters' continuity. That's awesome to know that their missing history has now started to be restored. Little bits of their missing history are now starting to be sprinkled in around there. So that is awesome, and I am going to point out and discuss all the little references that I myself caught, but there are tons that I did not catch. There is a guy who works at my store who is a massive DC history fanatic, and he came up to me after he read it before I had gotten a chance to read it. He was just losing his mind. He loved this. He was like, there's so many things in here, so many things, and he was listing some of them off for me. Not like spoilery stuff, but just like, oh man, they talk about this thing, talk about this thing, and even he had to say, I'm sure there's some I didn't catch. I'm sure there was some stuff in the background that I didn't get a chance to figure out. So yeah, if you are an Easter egg hunter, this is the issue for you. But for everybody out there who just wants my opinion on the book and my little review of it, let's get into it. The rest of this video will not be nearly as exciting as what I just hyped up. Please keep watching though. Now normally when I do one of these discussion / review / whatever the heck these videos are type of videos, I like to go through and give you every single thing that happens in the issue and then give you my thoughts on it as I go through it. But we're not going to do that today. Today I'm just going to give you the summation real quickly, and then we're going to move right into my discussion afterwards. So to begin with, if you guys have not read the 2 issues that led into this one, basically Green Lantern and Duke Thomas discovered that there's a secret Batcave underneath the Batcave where Batman has been studying something mysterious, something from the dawn of mankind, something that could haunt and change the DC universe forever. Also, the Joker was still alive and trapped down there in the sub-Batcave? I don't know what we're gonna call it. You gotta give us a name for the sub-Batcave, because sub-Batcave is not a good name. But anyway, that is what we have leading into this, and it's kind of teased that there's some weird metal, and that metal is connected to every special superpower that exists on the planet. Basically, it's kind of an explanation for why people in this universe have superpowers at all. It has something to do with this metal. So that's the mystery that we have going into this issue. We also know that Carter Hall, aka Hawkman, has been studying this secret metal, and that it is actually the reason why he and Hawkwoman have been resurrecting over and over and over again. And now he has written everything down in a journal, and he has hid that journal somewhere. In this issue, it now starts off with a little flashback to the dawn of mankind, and it's revealed that there were 3 tribes: the bear tribe, the wolf tribe, and the bird tribe. But then a mysterious 4th tribe showed up that wanted to wreck everything. It's the Bat tribe. We know what it is. It's the Bat tribe. From there, it then cuts to the Justice League fighting Mongol on War-World, and then Batman is attacked by all these giant robots. Every single member of the League has a robot made specifically for them, and they're made by the Toyman. And then Batman figures out, wait, Toyman's on our side. He tried to figure out a way for us to get out of here. We have to use these mechs. So they all jump in the mechs, and then the mechs form together into a giant Justice League Voltron, and they defeat Mongol with that. But then they come back to Earth, and when they arrive back at Gotham City, they discover a giant mountain has appeared in the middle of Gotham City, just wrecking the entire town. They investigate the mountain and find out it's hollow inside, and inside they discover they don't show you who these people are. They're people in little suspension pods, but it's basically explained later on. It's the Challengers of the Unknown, this old team from old DC Comics who are basically just big adventurers. Imagine if the Fantastic Four did all the cool stuff that the Fantastic Four did, but they just never got superpowers. That's who the Challengers of the Unknown were. And inside there is also the Red Tornado. And it's explained when the Blackhawks, who are a secret Black Ops team who are basically designed to prevent the apocalypse, show up, and they explain to the Justice League, yeah, listen, it's time that you know about the secret history of this metal. So they take them to this island, Black Hawk's Island, which was founded by Carter Hall, and they explain that there are secret islands all around the world where this metal sets off a weird vibration that keeps it from being present to the rest of the world. Like they say, Themyscira is one of these islands. So basically they're trying to say that not only are superpowers caused by people having connections to this metal, they're even saying that magic is caused by weird vibrations of this metal. Now, when they arrive back to Black Hawk's Island, it's revealed by their leader, who is actually Hawkgirl, that they have one of the few remaining pieces of nth metal that is still left in the universe. And she starts explaining about how this nth metal is connected to everyone with powers, and it's also connected to the multiverse. And she actually brings out that giant map that you saw in Multiversity. Remember that one? Here, put it up on screen. This thing. She actually brings out that thing that we all thought was just a piece of promotional art for Multiversity and goes, this is what we've been able to map of the multiverse. We figured out there are 52 other universes out there. That's it. No more, no less. However, the frequencies that come from this metal, we cannot trace it to any of these universes, which means it has to come from somewhere else. And then she just flips the map over and it's completely black on the other side, and she goes, what if there is a dark multiverse? What if there's another multiverse that is the mirror image of our multiverse, and that's where it came from? What if it came from the dawn of mankind? They entered into our universe, and that's why everyone in our multiverses have had powers. Kind of an interesting concept, but I'll save my ideas for that later. And she then starts going into this whole history of this metal and of the different tribes, of the bird tribe, and how it led into who they are right now. But she starts mentioning that every single multiverse has a doorway, has a gateway that connects their world to that dark multiverse, and they're going to use that doorway to break in and invade into our universe, and the name of that gateway is Wayne. That's what they've been able to figure out. So they're like, sorry Batman, we gotta kill you. And at this point, everything goes nuts. Batman activates the Red Tornado. The Red Tornado wakes up and says, you opened the door, we told you not to. And he starts attacking everyone. Batman then escapes with the nth metal, starts heading back to Gotham. He arrives back at Gotham, discovers that Carter Hall's missing journal was in Wayne Manor the whole time. He starts reading through it, and then all of a sudden behind him, this is your last chance to avoid any big massive spoilers. Behind him, last page is revealed, Sandman is standing there. Yeah. Dream from the old Sandman, Neil Gaiman book, he is now in the DC universe and he's part of this big event. I don't know what it is about everything that involves a DC event over the past few years, but apparently the last page reveal always has to have something to do with Vertigo characters. So, okay, I know that sounded kind of crazy, but believe me, it is. There's so much in here that I didn't even go into. Like I said, there are tons of little secrets all over the place. Like, it's kind of hinted in here that the reason why the Bat Tribe was created in the first place was because of Batman traveling back in time during Final Crisis, and that's when they discovered the Nth metal sent from the Dark Universe. It is complex as hell, everything they're saying up. However, I do love me some dark horror multiverse stuff, which that's what this is. It is a big horror story because this is written by Scott Snyder, and Scott Snyder is a big horror junkie. Pretty much every horror thing he's done so far has kind of just been the Slender Man over and over and over again. So it's cool to see him testing out something new. It's cool to see him now going, well, I'm still going to do horror, but now I'm going into Lovecraft. Now I am going into old gods. I'm going into Cthulhu stuff, because they even mention that there is a dark god, an ancient dragon, they referred to it, who is trying to break into our universe, and you're the doorway, Wayne. That's what you are, the doorway to. This ancient dark god. Basically, it's not Cthulhu, it's Cthulhu. That's what they're basically saying. In fact, his name is Barbados. Please tell me it's not actually pronounced that way, because it's spelled that way, but all I can think of when I hear that is Barbados Slim from Futurama. I'm hoping it's like Barbatos or Barbatos, something like that. I'm gonna call him Barbatos, because otherwise I'm just gonna keep thinking of Barbados Slim. So yeah, so far I am loving the horror side of this, and it actually suits Scott Snyder very well. It actually is his own original unique stamp on this event. It's so weird to me to see Scott Snyder doing a big event, because I never really pictured him as being an event guy, because he was just so rooted in horror, and I could never really see someone handing the horror guy the keys to do a giant event. But this is what the horror guy would do as a giant event. It's kind of cool to see him going, well, what's the biggest, scariest thing of all? Cthulhu, dark gods, an entire universe full of evil and horrors that would drive you mad if you even saw it. Let's have the Justice League fight that. That's an original, unique thing. I cannot picture anybody else creating something like this. So this does indeed have Scott Snyder's unique stamp on it. However, that's also kind of my negative with this, is that it has Scott Snyder's unique stamp on it. And before I continue, I just want to say, I've actually met Scott Snyder. That dude is incredibly nice. That is one of the nicest guys in comics. It's always weird that the people out there who write the weirdest, most messed up, horrifying stuff are always insanely nice when you meet them in person. If you have ever met like one of those old classic horror directors or horror writers, they're always super friendly people. Scott Snyder follows the exact same rule. So I am not saying this in any way as a negative towards him as a person. I feel like whenever you criticize someone's work on the internet these days, you always kind of have to make that clear, because so often on the internet, when problems that you have with someone start coming out, it kind of gets twisted by other people into being like an insult at that person themselves. So I want to make it clear, nothing of the sort here. However, prepare for my most unpopular opinion in comics ever. I didn't like Scott Snyder's Batman. I know. Everybody else out there said it was the best book in all of the New 52, which in all fairness it actually might have been. But everybody was like, this is the perfect Batman. I love this version of Batman. This is the Batman I've been waiting for. I kind of hated his Batman. I always didn't like that interpretation of Batman for numerous reasons. One is that I like Batman being a dick. I don't like him being an asshole. If that makes sense to you guys. I like Batman who's just like, yeah, whatever, Clark. But his Batman was always the one who was like, no. I'm like that to a paranoid, psychotic level. And I've always found it interesting to tweak Batman to being to that point here and there, but this was several years in a row of the paranoid, schizophrenic Batman that we were getting in these books over and over and over again. And so that's one of the reasons why, even though Tom King's version of Batman is very robotic, I will totally admit that, I do think he's a little bit more together than Scott Snyder's version of Batman, so it's kind of been refreshing to get that. So reading this again, where Batman is just refusing to tell anyone his plans, these people who have worked beside him for years and years, and people who he has trusted, and they have got his back, just seeing him once again going, yeah, but you can't know about this. This is my thing that I'm doing over here. It's like the entire multiverse is at stake here. And you're not going to let anyone in on this? I'm sorry, how is this going to work out for you? But also, speaking of the this is my thing that I've been doing in secret thing, yeah man, I'm kind of tired of that being Scott Snyder's Batman thing. I mean, think about Court of Owls. I studied this thing a long time ago, but you didn't need to know about that because there wasn't anything here. Oh my gosh, there was a big secret here that I didn't know about. Death of the family. Well, this is a thing that the Joker did a long time ago, but I studied it and you didn't need to know anything about that. Oh my gosh, you needed to know about that thing. Year Zero. This is a thing that happened a long time ago, but it was never told before. Now we're telling it. Oh my gosh, here's how it worked out. Then all of a sudden, the Joker comes back, and now the Joker has a mysterious background that no one ever talked about. That was a secret from everyone. And then even in Heavy Metal, when Gordon was Batman, Bloom was the villain, they stopped to have one issue in there where Batman goes, there was this time long ago in which I ran into Bloom, but I didn't think it was a thing even though I studied it, and now that secret has come back to haunt us. I am so freaking sick of Batman studying something in secret that no one else can know about, and now it's coming back to haunt them. Dear God, I can't take that anymore. So yeah, I gotta be honest with you. Every single time in this issue when Batman was like, you don't need to, that's a thing, no, I'm not even talking to you about this thing. I'm gonna be over here, just mooning. I'm not even gonna talk about this thing that I've been studying that could destroy the entire multiverse. I was like, oh my God, why do you even have him on this team? Seriously, why would you trust this guy at all? Like, Batman was always the secret mysterious guy, but he wasn't a freaking psychopath about it, and it didn't involve everything in his life was a big secret. Every single thing that he faced was not a big, massive secret that he had to then turn around and deal with all over again. Yeah, man, it kind of drove me nuts that that was what this was all over again. Also, one small thing, I always hated that Scott Snyder would just find any excuse at all to put Batman in a mech. Seriously, that dude had Batman suit up in a specially made mech just for each situation at the drop of a hat. And I've always said, I would far rather my Batman have a magnifying glass than a mech. I would far rather have a Batman who's just looking at fingerprints and rather than someone who just has the supercomputer in his brain and is like, tell me everything I need to know about this case. Bam, I've already solved it. You didn't solve squat, your supercomputer solved everything. And in the little prequels to this, that was leading up to it, I laughed because in issue number 1 of the prequels, by page 3, he already had Batman in a mech, and I was like, alright, fine, you got one in this. You got out of your system. But now in issue number 1 of the actual event, again, they're on Warworld, where they have access to none of their gadgets, and it just turns out that the robots they were forced to fight had secret buttons that if you press them correctly, they then all form into a giant Voltron mech with Batman at the head. I was like, okay, that's your you can't have Batman fight Barbatos in a giant Godslayer mech. You can't bring that out. You've used the mechs twice now in this event and we're on issue 1 of it. You can't do the mech anymore. But as I said, I think that the horror aspect of what Scott Snyder writes really works in here. I wanted to end it on a positive. Scott, you're a real cool guy, man. Also, just speaking about what this series is going to do to Batman. How you're now going to have him be some destined Batchild that is the link to a dark multiverse, and he is now like the chosen one of this universe to bear all that darkness inside him. I just look at that and I'm like, what happened to that kid whose parents were shot in the alleyway and then he decided to go and study martial arts and study to be a detective and then swore to go and prevent crime from happening? It really almost feels, with what they've done to Batman and even a little bit with what they've done to Green Arrow in the past couple of years, it almost feels like DC in Rebirth and in the New 52 have been ashamed of their street level heroes. Like, if you look over at Marvel, Daredevil isn't suddenly getting the special Satan powers that allow him to fight crime all over Hell's Kitchen at once. He's not tapping into some weird seventh sense that he never even knew that he had to go out there and fight. He's still just the blind lawyer who's got heightened sense of hearing, that's it, and he was trained to be a ninja. That's what he does, because it works. Power Man, Iron Fist, okay, Iron Fist a little bit, okay, I'll leave Iron Fist alone, but that happened a long time ago. But like, Power Man is still just Power Man. He's still the dude with unbreakable skin who goes in there to save the day, because that's what Harlem needs. Batman is now a literal god. That's what you're doing. He's literally not even a god, an old god. He is now the servant of the one true Dark Master out there. And it's like, man, the thing I always liked about Batman is he was human. That's the thing I dig about. And it seems like ever since Iron Man got popular, people have kind of looked over at Batman as like, oh, well, this is our rich guy, and this is the amazing stuff that he does over here. What are you doing? You're just solving crimes over there. That's nothing special. It seems like ever since then, they've been amping him up to 11, 12, 13, 14. In fact, it even started before that. It started all the way back when Dark Knight Rises came out, and all of a sudden Frank Miller said, yeah, Batman could totally beat Superman if he had to. That's when it started going, okay, well now Batman has to be something greater than human. And if you guys know me, I've always kind of hated that. I've always been like, no, man, Batman is the guy you get to solve a crime. Batman is the guy you get to punch a crazy clown criminal. Batman is the guy you get to fight a two-faced criminal, a guy who tells riddles. He's not the guy you get to fight gods. Like, I remember back in, like, Crisis of Infinite Earths, Batman and Robin would go there with the Justice League to fight the Anti-Monitor, but Batman and Robin would stand down there and be like, man, we can't do anything with this. And it's like, that's not a bad thing. You don't have to have Batman fight gods. You can just have him be Batman, because being Batman is pretty damn cool on its own. But in all honesty, even though I have these problems with Batman, that is not Scott Snyder's fault. That is not this one issue's fault. This one issue just took it further than anything I've seen before, and took it to a point where I'm like, there's no coming back from this, is there? I'm never going to see you just hanging out with Commissioner Gordon trying to solve a murder case again, am I? I mean, I'll probably see it. I'm not gonna really be able to believe it. I'm not really gonna be able to look at you like, yeah, this is what you should be doing. It's like, no, you should be fighting in space multiverse out there. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of obsessing with it so much on this issue, because this was the issue that made me go, this is what the new status quo for Batman is. It's like, I realize there's no stopping this. As I said, it started a long time ago. It's been rolling and snowballing and getting bigger and bigger with every generation of new readers. We ain't going back to old Batman, and that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of freaking out right now, is because, like, man, this is it. This is the end of that old Batman. I mean, don't get me wrong. We'll have that old Batman again. Absolutely, we will. But man, it ain't gonna be the same. He will forever be this guy. And I've said that about many times that they have tried changing characters like this before in the past. But at least this is changing it into something that's different, that other people enjoy. As I said, this is my problem with it, but it's not like, to give you another example, it's not like when Hawkeye killed the Hulk over in Civil War II. I made a video where I came out and kind of said, hey man, Hawkeye will now forever be that guy who killed the Hulk. And that sucks. There's nothing positive to that. There's nothing good about that. You've just kind of wrecked his character now by doing this. He will forever be that guy. This is not that. This is not them turning Batman into something negative. They just turned Batman into something that I'm like, it's not what I like. But other people out there do like it, and I realize I'm in the minority on this one, so alright, have your Godslayer Batman out there. There we go. But okay, I'm being a little bit overly negative on this, but it's not, again, because of any, like, writing problems with this, aside from, as I said, kind of the repetition of the storylines that Scott Snyder's been telling with Batman. It's not problems with the actual issue itself. It's more of just things that I've been having problems with for a while, and this was kind of that issue where I was like, man, this is all those things hitting the peak. However, the actual writing of the book is pretty darn good. I mean, it is Scott Snyder. The guy is very talented. And as I said, I really dig all the horror stuff they're putting in here because I'm a big horror junkie, so it gets me really excited, this idea that's like, man, the Justice League is gonna fight the old gods. I should think that's stupid, but I don't. I think it's cool. But also, I dig a lot of the non-horror stuff in here, like a lot of the origin to the DC universe. I complain every now and again about when they try and go back and go, oh, here's the secret origin of all this stuff in the DC universe, or in the Marvel universe, or in this universe, because I realize people aren't really gonna follow it. People are gonna remember it for a few years, and then after that, it's like, yeah, this is too complicated to remember that. Let's just go back to the old things. So I'm always kind of like, I'd rather see storylines move forward rather than trying to explain the past. But there is some cool stuff in here. the stuff with the nth metals causing everyone to have powers and they're the cause of magic and all of this, if that's a thing that they want everyone to talk about, it'll be a problem. But if it's kind of like midichlorians in Star Wars where they briefly mention it once and then from then on it's like, yeah, you don't need to know about that stuff. It's magic space powers. That's what it is. It's magic space powers. Never mention the midichlorians again. It's like, fine, alright, cool. It's great for this setup. You can do some cool stuff with it in the future. And as long as people ignore it in the appropriate places, it won't really harm anything going forward. So I can see it being a positive. Also, the thing that actually gets me the most excited is the stuff about the tribes. The bird tribe, the bat tribe, the bear tribe, and the wolf tribe. The bird tribe we know. That's the Blackhawks. That's Hawkman. And it's also kind of the Court of Owls, which I find to be real interesting. And then, of course, the bat tribe. It's Batman, his whole family. Got it, cool. What the heck is the bear tribe and what the heck is the wolf tribe? That's the thing that got me excited the most, is that they actually set up these other things. It's kind of the best way I can describe it is like when they did the Sinestro Corps War all these years ago. It's like, oh my gosh, there's always been the Green Lanterns, but now there's the Yellow Lanterns out there too. And then at the end of that storyline, they go, you want to know the real truth? Brother, there ain't 2 lanterns. There's 7. There's a whole rainbow of course out there, and you ain't seen nothing yet of what these can bring in. When they mentioned those 2 other tribes, all I could think was, oh my goodness, what are those tribes gonna be? And are there more tribes aside from this? Are those like the 4 big tribes? And then there were secret other tribes that no one knew about. Oh my god, even I'm doing it now where I'm coming with the secret stuff that no one knew about. And now it's going to come back to haunt us all. But yeah, man, I really want to see what they're gonna do with these tribes. That is actually an awesome idea. It really reminds me of what I love from when J. Michael Straczynski jumped on Spider-Man all these years ago, and he came in here and he said, listen man, there are magic animal totems out there, and you're part of the spider tribe. That's where you get your powers from. That's where your connection to the universe is. And I always looked at that and I was like, oh my gosh, are there going to be other tribes? And they never did that. They never had other animal totems really come in there. And like, man, that is a wasted opportunity. I'm still waiting on Marvel to do that. And then DC is basically taking that idea and going along with it before Marvel can get to it. Man, Marvel, DC came in here and snatched one of your coolest plots that you never even used. And of course, the big reveal at the end is that Neil Gaiman's Sandman is now part of the DC universe. I haven't read Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I know, it is a classic, but that is the biggest blind spot in my education. That is the biggest book out there that everyone loves and everyone says you should read that I just never really got around to. I just never got to reading it. And it's one of those things where everybody has hyped it up so much that I still kind of feel like, oh man, should I read this? Or are my expectations now so high that there's no way I can match it? So I can't come in here as a Sandman fan or somebody who has even read Sandman and go, well, this is what that could mean for the DC universe. I can just come in here as someone who wants to see some cool stuff happen in the DC universe and say, yeah man, you bring in all that mystical stuff that Neil Gaiman had in that book, you could actually do some really cool stuff with it. Because even though I didn't read it, I actually know about the characters. I know about what each of them represent. So, hey man, if you want to bring them in as this like secret section of the DC universe and they only pop up every now and again, like all those other big giant massive cosmic characters who only show up when the world's about to end, cool, I could actually see you doing some really cool stuff with that. I could actually see that being a perfect place for them to fit in. But also, it makes me think back to Watchmen. I made this joke earlier on, but how the Rebirth issue ended with them going, oh my gosh, the Watchmen are now connected to the DC universe. It makes me look at it and go, well, I might have had some problems with this before, but the whole Watchmen being connected to Rebirth thing is so brilliant and works on so many levels. This looks like you could just slip that right in there too. Like, I'm far more willing to trust them because of how cool Rebirth was and what it did with the Watchmen. So now I'm like, screw it, man. Grab all your Vertigo characters. Put them all in there. Have Yorick Brown from Why the Last Man just walking around in a scene for no reason. Also, it makes me wonder if this is actually connected to the Watchmen. Because, I mean, hey, if he's the embodiment of all dreams, he's going to be on a cosmic level of power. Wouldn't he probably know something about what the Watchmen have been up to? So it seems like this could actually lead into Rebirth really well. That's the thing, there's so many things in this storyline that I look at and go, that is distinctly Scott Snyder. But then every now and again, you can see the hand of Jeff Johns coming in here and just going like, do that right there. Cool, thank you, I'm out. All yours now, Scott. Oh, one last thing. That right there. Cool. Now I'm out. Totally your thing. But yeah, so in the end, even though this was kind of the embodiment of a lot of problems that I have had with Batman for a long period of time. It was still a really good issue, and all this stuff in here that wasn't connected to my problems with Batman was really damn good in this. So yes, so far we are off to a very strong start on this, but let me know in the comments down below or on Twitter and Tumblr at Professor Thorgy what you thought of this issue. And as always, if you have not hit that subscribe button before and you want to see other comic book videos from me, we do these every single Wednesday on this channel. And if you want to support the channel, then share this around the web or hit that thumb up button. It's the best way to help us out. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Come back next time. Bye.